Hey there, my name is Nate Bagley, and I'm the head of content here at Clozd, and I am here with the CEO and co-founder of Clozd, Spencer Dent.
Everyone.
And we want to talk to you about something that's really important. There's a bit of an economic, a bit is probably an understatement. We're facing an economic downturn right now.
Yep.
That's the reality.
Yep.
And a while back, you wrote some articles on what to do in an economic downturn. And as I was going through our website, I was like, oh my gosh, people need to know about this. So the first question I guess I have for you is, why is an economic downturn an opportunity?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the analogy I would give you is it's kind of like if you are rowing a boat and then you hit a headwind, what's going to happen is as you keep rowing, you're going to get stronger and stronger because you have more resistance. And then once you come out of that, you're going to be able to really fly. But if you haven't put yourself in a position to be strong and to be able to row through that, then you better watch out. Your business isn't going to end up on the same track after this is over as it was going into it. So the companies that have set themselves up and put themselves in a position, it's a huge opportunity. The biggest market share gains occur in downturns because those companies that are strong are able to gather more positions so that coming out of it, they can just shoot like a rocket.
Great. So let's spend the next couple of minutes talking about what companies can do during this next little while, however this downturn lasts, to
Yeah.
build those muscles. So when the storm passes, they're just flying.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, one thing I would say, and this, anybody who's saying we're in a recession, right? We started seeing this across our data set
Mhm.
in Q2, like a 10% uptick, not in lost deals, in push deals, right? What does that mean? It means deals are being pushed out. Buyers are saying, oh, budget's getting cut, or we have to pause all additional spend, et cetera. Very definition of like the beginning of a recession is money stops flowing, right?
Yeah.
So we're definitely in the middle of this. So what do you do now? Right? Like this is what a lot of companies are facing themselves with. One thing I would say is you have to double down your effort, not necessarily your dollar investment in your go to market. So that's important. You got to be creative. You got to focus on lead gen activities, figure out how do you get everybody focused on every single dollar that's available in the market. Cause if the dollar's available in the market, you got to go get it.
Right.
Right. Um, and make sure that that might not mean you're hiring more people. In fact, and oftentimes it might be you have potentially fewer people, but you have to be more focused than ever in winning every single dollar. Reset the culture in your work to treat every single deal in your sales pipeline as if it is a make or break deal. You
Yeah.
know, when times are rich, it's easy to be like, let the kind of smaller ones go that may not be the
Or
make or
shrug it
break
off and be
deals.
like, oh, we're just learning something from
Yeah,
this.
totally. Versus like when things are tight, you got to get as much juice out of the lemon as possible.
Cool. Awesome. So let's talk about, I know there's a tendency to, when it comes to your go to market efforts, be a little bit apprehensive and pull back a little bit, or change things up because you don't feel like they're working when you're coming into a recession. Is that a good thing or a bad thing to do?
You should always be tweaking, right? You should
Right.
always be experimenting. All innovation happens in small increments, not in big bites. So one key here is don't be stagnant, right? Like if there was something that you were really good at, like this is another tip, right?
Mhm.
Whatever you're good at, find creative ways to extend those strengths right now, right?
Right.
You might be constrained with your economic resources, right? You might have to figure out, new creative, scrappy ways to do this, but you want to advance and differentiate your offering as much as you possibly can right now and think really hard about those small improvements that you're making right now that might not feel like you're getting the same return right now
Mhm.
in 6, 12, 18, 24 months as the economy starts to loosen and money starts to flow again, you will be better positioned than ever. So don't stop innovating, right? In
Right.
fact, now's the time. It actually is a good forcing function because when you get constrained, you have to focus on how you drive innovation even more so. So treat it as an opportunity to really focus your innovative efforts on the most important things so that when you come out of it, those will be real strengths.
Yeah. Constraints kind of breed creativity.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that.
100%.
So let's talk about staying lean then.
Yeah. Like you don't want to unnecessarily blow parts of your business ever, but when you're in a situation like this, every dollar counts, right?
Right.
So you want to think about how, when it comes to your cost structure, How sustainable is it going to be? Right. A lot of companies we work with are in the tech space. A lot of them are funded, they're venture capital backed. And what they're seeing, what they're having to do is they thought the runway they had of capital was going to last them 24, 36 months. But now, given this environment, it's going to only last them 20. So what they're saying is, well, I'm going to actually have to go pull back some roles, right? Company's still growing. We're still going to grow, but we're going to have to pull back some roles and do a riff or a layoff because we're not going to have enough cash on hand to make it to 24 months. We need to free that money up. So you got to stay lean. That might mean you actually have to be aggressive and do this, but it also might just be, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't need to invest as much in some of these ancillary things that we've been in the past. Like I remember when COVID hit, and as a company, we used to do lots of activities and things like that. And guess what? Those activities were actually shut down because you couldn't do them anymore. We found other creative ways to get together and build culture, right? There's other things you can do. So just be smart about how you're spending. That's obvious, right? It's like motherhood and apple pie. Everybody believes in it. Just be smart about how you spend your dollars, especially right now.
My guess when it comes to being lean is that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah.
So this is going to force being lean on people who haven't been lean in the past. And maybe the people who have been lean are going to not necessarily feel the tightening of the belt as much.
Totally. It's like Tony Robbins has a quote that's like, there are two types of pain in the world: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Like companies right now that have been irresponsible with their cash, irresponsible with their expenses, have ballooned too hard, they're feeling tons of pain. Those who have, been disciplined and have like run into this, headwind, they're coming at it from a position of strength. So yeah, it was painful to be disciplined about how you spend money, but now you're in a strong position where you can get through it.
Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about how pricing might change, because my assumption is that if you're going for every dollar, you might make some sacrifices during some down times.
Yeah, totally. So just a question I would ask anybody who's listening to this: how can you make your product easier for somebody to buy? How can you remove the barriers to purchase that are harder at this point? Those are higher barriers than they've been because of the economic environment we're in. So how do you remove any of those roadblocks? Those roadblocks could have to do with how is it packaged? It could have to do with the overarching price point. Everybody always goes to the overarching price point, but it could just be, maybe you change some of the elements in the term, right? Instead of it being a 12 months term, it's a month to month contract. Instead of it being a user-based model, maybe you make it so that there's bigger increments so they don't feel like they're going to run up the cost too quickly. So you kind of have to answer that for yourself in your business, but
there are adjustments you can make.
Yeah. What are the barriers that are there that you can maybe loosen? And here's another great example. Maybe this potential customer that you're trying to win, you're pulling away from another competitor, and there's going to be switching costs. And it's already hard enough to do that even in great times. Like, how do you make it so enticing to them now when, every dollar matters? Like, what type of discounting can you do? Incremental value can you add to them so that the jump is easier to stomach economically? So there's a lot to do. It might mean, in some cases, you might have to actually change elements of your product, right? You might have to change how you fence your product. You might have to change how you package it. You might have to change how you sell it even. But, these things all kind of go together as you start thinking about how can I get more lean? Maybe there's other channels at which I can sell my product, and maybe there's a different SKU at which I can sell it that's still profitable. And that innovation that you make over the next 18 months becomes the future of your business.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be open to everything.
Yeah. It seems like there's some real power in being able to be agile and flexible during a downtime. Like my guess is that most people aren't prepared for this. And so they either stagnate or fall behind during a downturn. And so being flexible and agile and being able to adapt gives you the opportunity to maybe get ahead. And
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's like, are you on your heels or on your toes?
Yeah.
Like that's a good way to think about it. When this wind comes, this economic headwind, how quickly are you able to get back on your toes? That tells you a lot about how well positioned you were going into the environment. So.
Now, I know one of the big problems that a lot of companies are facing right now isn't just pipeline, like getting sales and,
Yeah.
and generating revenue. Part of it is churn. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of people cutting costs, and
Yep.
like you said, they're cutting the ancillary
Right.
programs and software that they don't really necessarily need to function to save
Yeah.
costs. So in that kind of a climate, what do you recommend people do?
You should have been doing it for years already. Again, it's one of those pain of regret versus, pain of discipline.
Hmm.
You should be thinking in a very disciplined way. How do you make sure that your product or your solution is so valuable that your customers view it as like mission critical? Like, I can't not have this. Like, I will cut other things first. If you're below the line because they'd rather have the other solutions, then that's trouble.
Mm.
So it's more important than ever to deliver real value for your customers, whatever you're doing. So that may mean maybe you are a product, maybe you are some type of software solution. What are some additional services from a customer success or support or professional services standpoint that you can bring above and
Mm.
beyond so that they get that extra value? And yeah, you might be doing it at your own cost, but if it helps you renew that business right now, that's totally useful. So focus hard on retention, over deliver for your customers, make sure they're getting everything they need. Go get creative, go the extra mile. Like, know your customers and what they're dealing with, because
Yeah.
they're dealing with some of the same stuff that you are. And the sooner you get ahead of that and understand, A, the sooner you know the likelihood and propensity for them to renew. And B, you're in a better spot to get your value over that hurdle of I can't ever cut this.
Right. Yeah. Like if your phone's not ringing, and that's bad enough, but to have that compounded with dissatisfied customers who don't really see the value in what you do, that's a recipe for disaster.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons, we have a lot of software companies. One of the reasons why software is able to get such solid valuations and multiples is because they have solid renewal bases,
Mm.
and those customers renew and retain and actually upgrade. And so, companies that have really solid business models right now, yeah, they're feeling pressure, but if they've created the right value prop and have delivered on that promise, they're solid.
Right. They're in a
They'll
good
be able
spot.
to weather this. The ones to watch out for are the ones that are having big churn problems.
Mm. So if nobody's really knocking down your door right now to buy from you, and you're trying to make your customers happy, like what should you really be doing right now if you're not generating revenue? Like
Yeah,
what's
totally. I mean, you probably have to work harder than ever to get the same dollars,
Mm.
right? You have to realize that you can't be diligent just once. You either are or you are not diligent. So any of your pipeline efforts, your outbound sales motion needs to be tuned up and consistent right now more than ever. You got to make sure that every rock is getting overturned. You got to make sure that your marketing effort and spend is efficiently done right now. But you also need to be patient. And that's a hard thing to do, to like throttle and want to push the gas and want to push your market, and then throttle and realize like maybe I need to like reset my expectations. But
right?
it's a fine balance as, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a sales leader, whatever, to realize, every seed that you plant right now will probably eventually come to harvest.
Mm.
It just might take a little bit longer, so some of the stuff that you're doing right now to go build your market, to go get out in front of customer, know that maybe 6 months ago or a year ago, those would turn around quickly. What might happen is if you do it right and you build the right relationship and you take a long-term view to every single engagement, whether that's digital, in person, over the phone, with every potential customer, know that what will happen is you can put yourself in a position to where those seeds, they might take 6 months to actually start to go and sprout, but they'll come eventually. So you have to be diligent, but you also have to be patient, right? It's like classic law of the harvest, right? You got to put the seeds in the ground, till the ground, let it roll, and eventually it will come. But if you just sit back and say, I'm going to wait until this passes, well,
Can't really wait it out.
you're going to be in trouble because other people are hustling, and they're going to come out of it in a stronger spot.
Okay, so I want to piggyback on this law of the harvest idea, because there's the law of the harvest and there's the parable of the harvest. And the parable of the harvest that we've all heard is you plant the seeds, but some of those seeds land on the rocks and some of them land in the sand. And like what you want is for your seeds to land in the rich, fertile soil so that they'll grow.
So very good. Very good.
Is that a good segue?
Well, yeah. So the segue I would put on that is It's all about focus right now,
Yeah.
right?
You got to be planting your seeds in the right
It's
places,
all about
not
focus
just
right now.
planting.
Yes, it's all about focus right now. So when things get tight, when you understand your core business, your core customer, why they choose you, why companies don't choose you, and you double, triple down on your strengths and you aggressively address your weaknesses, that's when you make step change improvements, which is basically win loss. Right?
I was going to say, how do you do that,
Right.
Spencer?
You basically have to
Yeah.
understand why you win and lose deals, right? And this is like, a little bit of a shameless pitch for Clozd, but there's no more important time for a company to understand what's happening to their business than right now. It's been really cool to see over the last 6 months as they're starting to, little rattling, there's a storm coming, to, okay, now we're really in it, to see how win-loss has helped our clients understand what's going on, because you're missing your numbers in some cases, right? Yeah, we have clients that are, they're missing their numbers, and they're thinking, how much of this is my fault? And there is, a little bit of comfort to being able to step back and say, okay, we are seeing this, we are experiencing this, and what is happening, it's not because we're losing to our competitors. It's not because we're losing because of product gaps. It's because we're losing because the budget's going away because of a recession.
Hmm.
And when you know that, creates a different strategic outcome than some of our clients are still hearing, no, we're losing because of certain competitors. We're losing because we're missing certain features.
Right.
Right. So now's more time, a time that's more important than ever to not guess.
Right. Make sure that the only reason that you lose a deal is for factors that are outside of your control.
Yes. 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 And make sure that you right now are making educated, data-driven, based off of what the buyers are saying, investments, go to market. Don't guess. It's such a bad time to guess because you don't have as many chips at the table, right? You don't have as many opportunities because you're in a tightened market. So there aren't as many deals in the marketplace. There isn't as much pipeline that's going to come through. So you have to make sure that you optimize every aspect of how you go to market as a business.
You got to lower risk.
Yeah.
You have to lower the risk.
And the only way to get smart.
Yeah, get
like,
smart.
It's one of those things like right now where I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it closed and I'm seeing these impacts on our business.
And it's kind of meta.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
It's beautiful for me to be able to look at Clozd and say, okay, we're renewing our big, strong customers because they've been getting tons of value out of this for years and they're seeing more and more value come from it. And right now they're relying on Clozd more than ever. Right. It's interesting for me to see because win-loss is it's a new discipline.
Yeah.
For a lot of our clients, this is the first time it's ever been a budgeted line item. And frankly, we're seeing that happen, right? Where it's like, hey, we just did a layoff, like all of our budgets got frozen. So I'm not going to be able to spend on this right now, but we'll see where the 2023 plan comes out and I have it slotted into my budget. So please follow up with me. So it's really cool to get that feedback and know where you're actually at with buyers. So you know what you need to adjust and how you need to follow up and how the dollars will come back if you stay on top of what's happening with them and why you are in our business.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing for me is hearing you share all these tips and realizing this is exactly how we're approaching the recession here at Clozd. So you're leading by example.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So if folks here watching want to learn more about win-loss analysis and how they can lower risk and be more informed, I think the best invitation right now is to go check out Win-Loss 101. It's basically an indoctrination into how we approach gathering this data. We'd show you exactly how to do it for yourself if you want to give that a shot. And if not, we have ways where you can get in contact with one of our experts and they can chat with you and maybe help you take the next step.
Yeah. Always happy to help out with the newest thing. So a lot of companies are tackling this for the first time. We have tons of resources.
Hopefully we can help people row into these headwinds so that they can get strong, survive the downturn and come out ahead of the competition. That's a big win if you ask me.
This too shall pass, everybody. Okay, so keep your head up. We're going to be fine.
Awesome. Thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, man.